Hello nerds of the universe, and welcome to Nerd Talk! This is the first Nerd Talk video of 2023, and it is very fitting that the first video of this new year would be on the Bad Batch. I just recently watched the first 2 episodes, and I'm here to break it all down for you and tell you all my predictions for this season going forward. So without further ado, let's get on with the video! So starting off with the first episode, some pretty interesting things are happening. We meet new pirate lady who introduces herself and then leaves without explanation, which creates room for Sid to give the Bad Batch their next mission. Sid tells them that the Empire is raiding Dooku's palace on the planet Sereno for its treasure and riches. Sid tells the Bad Batch that if they can get just one of these crates, it would be worth more than all of their previous jobs put together, so that they can have a future. Hunter thinks that it's too risky as they've had the Empire off their tail for a while now and that they could just live the rest of their lives as these mercenaries. Sid explains that she isn't convinced and recognizes that the Empire is tightening their fist, and it won't be long before her operation is shut down. Now, the first huge takeaway from this is that my previous theory was totally spot on with the Bad Batch going to Dooku's palace on Sereno. But the other big takeaway is that Hunter doesn't seem to care about anything more or less than providing a good life for Omega. And he doesn't agree to go on this mission until he realizes that it can give Omega a good life if they pull it off. What's really interesting, however, is the supposed conflicting interests within the team, specifically between Hunter and Echo. Hunter is just doing this all for Omega, but Echo wants to fight back against the Empire. He tells Hunter that they have basically been too preoccupied playing babysitter for Omega when they should be fighting the Empire. This, I think, of course, is something much more personal to Echo, as he probably feels the most bitter about the Empire because of what they did to his brothers. Remember, the Bad Batch didn't really have that much of a connection with the Regs, or regular clones, because they felt that they were too different. So even though they care enough to set their blasters to stun, I don't think they really see these clones as brothers. This is not the case for Echo, as he was a Reg. Anyway, they land on Sereno, and the job seems to be going well. However, Captain Wilco realizes that something is up and immediately takes action. He locks down all the crates and sets up a perimeter. The Bad Batch gets separated, and now the clones are onto them. Something that I love about the Bad Batch, especially with these 2 episodes, is that they don't reduce the clones to an accurate brain-dead stormtroopers after they go Imperial. These clones consistently hit their shots and genuinely become a force to be reckoned with for the Bad Batch, which is a deep contrast to how easily they took out an entire army of battle droids back in Season 7 of the Clone Wars. Tech, Echo, and Omega release all the crates because they know that thanks to Omega's studies, that the crates have boost thrusters inside to protect the cargo. Moving into Episode 2, the thrusters do engage and the team is alive. However, Tech does fracture his leg. They meet with this elderly gentleman, whose name I don't care to remember, and he helps them to his house where he tells them about Dooku and how he sold out Sereno for his own personal gain. Omega is obsessed with getting the treasure, but the old man tells her how finding what makes you happy is more important than any jewel. Then we see a brief argument between Tech and Echo discussing the treasure. This is yet another indication that though Echo is a member of the Bad Batch, he is still much different than they are. Omega wants to get that treasure because she overheard what Echo said to Hunter about helping other people aside from Omega, so she naturally blames herself for everything and tries to do it on her own. This is an aspect of Omega that I kind of hope they'll dial down as the show continues and as she matures. I get that she's a kid, but I feel like so many of the problems that the Bad Batch face, they face simply because Omega decided to do something stupid without telling or consulting anybody. Anyway, while she is failing to get the treasure, clones are closing in on her location as Echo tries to rescue her, with Tech limping behind. Now, many people don't know that Tech is my absolute least favorite member of the Bad Batch. However, this scene makes me like him a little more.
Transmitting. Hold your fire.
With a broken leg and pinned behind a tree by a turret, this man takes out one clone in hand-to-hand combat and stuns the turret trooper before passing out. Yes! Anyway, while all this is going down, Hunter and Wrecker are pursued by Captain Wilco and his company, who, I gotta say, was doing a pretty good job at getting to the Bad Batch. He was effective and quick and caught them off guard multiple times. Hunter and Wrecker are chased through Dooku's palace, into his basement, into the ruins, into a desecrated battlefield with separatist tanks and whatnot, and Wilco is right behind them every step of the way. Eventually, Wrecker does what Wrecker does best, by literally ripping off the blaster from a tank and just raining hell down on everyone. The two of them make it to the ship, meet up with the others, and fly off to safety. Echo and Omega have a little heart-to-heart, and it seems that they are on their way back to Ord Mantell. Meanwhile, Rampart meets with Captain Wilco and asks him about the Bad Batch, because he believed they were killed on Kamino after the destruction of Topeko City. This is actually very interesting because Hunter thought that they merely had the Empire off their backs for a while, and the Bad Batch had no idea that the Empire presumed that they were dead, because why would they, when Crosshair escaped with them and saw them alive? To me, this means that Crosshair did not report the Bad Batch to the Empire after he was rescued, showing that he still has some love for his former brothers, which I think is really cute. Wilco confirms to Rampart that it was in fact the Bad Batch, which worries Rampart since if the higher-ups knew about his failure to kill the Bad Batch, his position would be compromised, and possibly his life. So he tells Wilco to falsify the report so that he can hunt down the Bad Batch on his own. Wilco refuses to do so, so Rampart kills him and basically says,
"Fine. I'll do it myself."
I believe that eventually, Rampart's failure will come to light, as we do not see him in any other Star Wars media, so he will probably be killed by another high-ranking Imperial. Also, many people think that Captain Wilco's death is going to be, super important and spark, a clone uprising or something, and I completely disagree. I do think a clone uprising will happen at some point, but I don't think it's Rampart killing Captain Wilco that is the catalyst for that. Maybe, but Rampart will most likely cover his tracks well. Well, fellow nerds, with that, this video comes to an end. Before you go, I have a special announcement. I just recently hit 500 subscribers, and I will be getting my 500 subscriber special to you very, very soon. So if you like the content that you see, please hit like and subscribe, and give me your theories down below. Join my Discord, follow my Insta, and I will see you nerds in the next video. Nerd out!